like everybody says, she was a feisty woman, and stubborn. That's where I get mine from and stuff. But the best memory I had of my mom is when we lived in Indiana, just before we moved to Arizona. It was Christmas time, I think it was. And we would wrap up gifts, not necessarily in the box that they came in. And she wanted an iron for Christmas. And we bought it, and it was in the box it belonged in. But when she was opening it up, we told her it was just a brick. So she wouldn't know what it was. And then when, we kidded around with that and stuff. But she opened up and realized it was an iron. Of course, she would cry about it and everything else. And another time, as I remember, she was at work. The four of us were at home, and we got into a pillow fight. I don't know if you boys remember that or not. And we broke the one lamp. And we wouldn't tattle on each other, because they told us you don't tattle. So we didn't. Well, we all got spanked for it. To this day, I still don't know who broke it. But my mother put that lamp back together, glued it all back together except for a little piece around the extension cord. And she sewed it as is. Someone bought it. But those are the two memories I had the most of my mom. So it's going to be hard for her to be gone, but she's in a better place now. So, and she's all looking down on us. So she's going to give little signals here and there that she's around. So we won't forget about her at all. So those are the best memories I have of her.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Fred. I'm the youngest of the four. And what I can remember is when I always would try to make money. So I would like sell all my gifts and stuff so I could make money. So they made the rule, like if I got a Christmas gift or a birthday gift, I couldn't sell it, Well, I wanted pet rats for and they said no way. So my next door neighbor in Lake Havasu was having pet rats, and I told them, well, my birthday's coming up, so give me pet rats, because they couldn't get rid of them, because I got it as a gift. So they couldn't, so I got them, and they couldn't get rid of them. But I just, she probably tolerated a lot from me, because I was always trying to make money, and she was always trying to figure out ways to get rid of the pet rats, And finally, I think she convinced me, because they started eating my clothes up. So, but yeah, she always was trying to convince me to get rid of the pet rats. But that was probably the one thing that I remember when I first moved to Albuquerque, with the pet rats, and the tolerance that she had with me when I was growing up. I want to say one more thing. Her Bingo was her family here, and she wrote me. like going to bingo, and I appreciate everyone that knew her from bingo, because that was her family, and I'm glad that everybody treated her very nicely at the bingo place.
I'm a Jean's niece. I remember I'm a Jean and my dad. Those two were in trouble all the time. They couldn't stay out of trouble when they were together. I mean, they did fine on their own. I'm a Jean was always a cut-up anyway, and we just loved her for that. And she just loved her children, although she couldn't remember their names, who she was calling. She'd go to call Kenny. She didn't know if she was getting Reese's too, or who she was calling. And Freddie, she didn't know. I mean, she knew, and they knew, and they called all three names, you know, first, middle, and last, that, you know, they better come running. And, you know, that's, you know, how I remember her and my dad, and the holidays we spent with Grandma, and she's going to be up there in heaven with Grandma and my dad and our relatives that are there, taking her hands and, you know, introducing her around. She doesn't need any introduction. She already knows them. And just waiting for all of us to come up there, her children, to join her and her family. And we just loved her. Mainly our communication was through Christmas cards near the end, and couldn't catch her on phone calls a lot of times because I didn't know when her bingo days were. She loved her bingo family and her neighbors and her friends, and my husband and I, Bob had taken her to Carlsbad, New Mexico. She wanted to take a trip there, and since we'd gone out there to see her, whatever she wanted to do, that was our vacation too, because I'd never been there either. And Bob knew, so he could, you know, get us around. And she was cutting up even when we got stopped by a policeman. I thought we'd get an extended ticket, but you know, but we had a good time together, and we just love her, Jean, and we know where she is in God's hands, and God bless her family. Thank you. Did I say that my name is Violet and Sissy? And I'm representing Dad's side of the family. Thank you.
Two of her granddaughters. My name's Crystal, this is Veronica. The one thing I always remember about my grandma were the Christmas cards and birthday cards. I always got $25. And I always looked forward to that because I loved her cursive. And I always remembered I envied that because my cursive was horrible. And I remember when she couldn't send the money anymore, and she was so heartbroken. I remember her calling my mom and like, is it gonna hurt them? Or, you know, she was so wanting to just give. That was my grandma. She loved to give, and she had so much love to give, and it was so sweet that she was so concerned that she couldn't give the money anymore, but all I cared about was seeing the Christmas cards, and she even sent them to my kids, and they looked forward to it, and they didn't open up the card and be like, where's the money? They just enjoyed that it was great grandma, and it was just, that's one thing I'm going to always remember about her is that cursive that she had and those birthday cards, and how she was so heartbroken that she couldn't send that money anymore, because she always wanted to give. That was grandma.
Oh, I have hundreds of memories of her, but there's just a couple. When we were younger, we shared a room, and we didn't have anywhere to do our homework. And we came out one year, Mom, Dad, and us, and that's when she worked at Value House, and my sister and I fell in love with this desk. This desk weighed a ton, because the top of it wasn't it marble or something? It was heavy, but she got it for us, and her and Grandpa Frank drove it all the way out to California to bring it to us. And then more recent memories. Is my last trip that I was able to make out with my family. And my son, it was his first time coming out, and he was excited about riding the plane and the trip over. And then we said, okay, we're going to take you to the zoo. And she was so worried she wasn't going to be able to walk around the zoo. And I said, oh, we'll get you a wheelchair. She was being stubborn. She didn't want to get in that wheelchair because she didn't want anyone to see her in a wheelchair. And then she said the only way she was going to get in that wheelchair is if her grandbabies could push her around. So at the time my son was teeny tiny, and you couldn't even see his head. So she was like, okay, go left, but he would go the opposite way. And then my kids always made sure she could see all the animals. And so I know she's in a better place. I'm going to miss those phone calls. Also, I want to say thank you to her neighbors and her Pinko family for being able to help take care of her with us not being so close to her. We're all, I don't know why we're so scattered, but we are. But I guess that's what happens when families grow up. We go our separate ways. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for being there for her and supporting her. So thank you.
Does anybody else want to come up and say anything? You'll get one more chance if you want to. I have this lovely little poem here that I like. I'll read that to you. It says, where I have gone, I am not so small. My soul is wide as the world is tall. I have gone to answer the call of the one who takes care of us all. Wherever you look, you will find me there, in the heart of a rose or the heart of a prayer. On butterfly's wings, on wings of my own, to you I'm gone, but I'm never alone. I am home.